EgyptAir cargo service flight flew to Moscow for the first time since the downing of a Russian airliner in Egypt, and that of course was followed by suspension of flights between the two countries. Several foreign carriers have imposed travel bans on flights to Sharm El-Sheikh after a Russian passenger jet crashed over the Sinai in October 2015, killing all 224 people on board. Since that deadly incident, Egypt has been implementing new and tighter security measures across all its airports. In recent months, a number of European airlines have now resumed direct flights to the popular South Sinai tourist destination, and that includes Turkish, Belgian and Polish firms as well. Russia's President Vladimir Putin told Egypt's President Abdel-Fattah El-Sisi during a phone call that Russian flights to Egypt would resume, in his words, soon. Right, then let's get the latest details on what exactly is going on up north. Yasser Kim joins me now live from Cairo with a lot more. So what exactly did the Egyptian authorities have to do to convince the Russians that it was safe for flights to resume between these two states? Was it all about extra security at the airports in Cairo and Sharm El-Sheikh, or are there other measures taken as well?
Well, Rama, the extra security measures in the airports was the major issue. And that was the major concern, especially the reason why this plane went down, the Russian plane went down in 2015, killing all on board, because of some kind of a security lapse in the airport that led to a bomb being planted on the airplane. And that was the major overhaul that took place in the last 1.5 years since the Russian plane tragedy, that there's been a private company, security company, that's now helping out in securing the airports, not just Sharm El-Sheikh or Gada, but also Cairo and Luxor. There's new equipment being that have been placed to secure not just the checkpoints for the passengers, but also for the luggage, because there is also concern that maybe the bomb was planted in one of the luggage area. There's also been cameras that have been planted all around the airports and all around the cities as well. All around Cairo now, we've been seeing new cameras, CCTV cameras placed everywhere in the streets, in the airports, in the tourist areas, and everywhere they've been planted every day. It's something new for Egyptians to see cameras all around, banks, houses, everything. It's trying to cover the whole country. So this is the major reason why there has been some kind of an improvement in the security situation.
Indeed. Let's step back a bit though and look at the tourism sector essentially in context. What's the performance been like so far with the latest data available compared to the same period in 2015?
Well, the numbers are really sad, and it just reflects how dire the situation is in the tourism industry. I'll give you the approximate number of tourists that came to Egypt in 2015 was around 9,300,000, and that's in itself is lower than the average of tourists that come to Egypt before 2011. So we're taking 9.3 million in 2015. 2016, 4 million. So we're talking a huge drop. And obviously, that's the same huge drop in income. We're talking about $11 billion to $4 billion income. That's very, very low. 70% of the workers in the industry have quit their jobs in the tourism industry, working somewhere else until things start to pick up. It did pick up a bit in the last month or so. We've seen the resumption of flights from Germany. German market is important to Egypt. The resumption of flights from the UK, also important, not as the same level of last year, but at least they started to come back. The Ukrainians have sort of made up a bit from the absence of the Russians, who are the largest group of tourists that come to Egypt from the largest nationality, the Russians. And their absence has been the major issue there. And the Gulf has increased by 45% in 2016 compared to 2015. And that made up a little bit, but not much. The number is still big.
Indeed. One last question for you, Yasser, specifically with that period from the 3rd of November to date, especially since the Egyptian pound was floated over that period. Has it resulted in any tangible uptick in tourist traffic, mostly because, at least in dollar terms, Egypt is now a relatively cheaper destination?
Yes, it's much safer than before, and it's relatively cheap. And this is what the government is working on, hoping that that 2017 will be a much better year. They're hoping, or they're planning to get at least 12 million, up from the 4 million we've seen now. Like I said, in the last November and December have picked up. It could be because of this, because this came also after the floating of the Egyptian pound and the resumption of flights from Germany, UK, Ukraine, and the Arab countries. Egyptians are hoping that once the Russians start to come back, this will push up the tourism industry again and can reach the target. Obviously, the floating of the pound will have a big impact on that, and maybe 2017 will be a much better year. Everyone here hopes so.
Indeed, we certainly hope so as well. Thank you for that. That's Yasser Kim, of course, live up north in Cairo.